All right. Hello and welcome to yet another episode of Fireside podcast from Long Island Gaming League, where we casual gamers come together to relax, chat, and vibe about all things gaming. So join us around the virtual fire today as we share our epic in-game stories and talk about some indie esports, predecessor and sponsors and viewership. How are they related together? And today we have a special guest, so go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hello, everybody. My name is Lance Cecil. I am a shoutcaster for Predecessor, and I help run the largest tournament organization in the game right now called PCC or Prime Championship Circuit.
Okay, I am obviously aware of predecessor. We're gonna talk about it a bit later. But before we do so, I do have a question specifically in regards to you. How did your gaming or esports journey started and when?
Okay, so I'll start with my gaming origins, which go back a long ways because I'm 33 years old. Um, I remember one of my cousins showing me like Doom on his Windows 98 computer when I was a pretty young kid, and I didn't have it, so I couldn't play it myself. But I first encountered PC gaming when I was like 8 or 9 years old. And then my parents got me a Nintendo 64 when I was rather young as well, because I was a fortunate child. And me and my brother played a lot of Gauntlet Legends and some of the classic staples on the N64. Mario 64,
Yeah,
Mario Kart, GoldenEye. All of the
classic.
good old ones. And it
Mm-hmm.
kind of just started from there and evolved and evolved. But I was always a console gamer until I hit college because I grew up in a pretty small place where there wasn't a whole lot of PC gaming. And one of my buddies introduced me to League of Legends, that son of a bitch.
Oh
And
no.
I BKB, I got some horror stories for you about
Oh
how I used to
no.
play League of Legends. I started playing it on a bootleg copy of Windows on my MacBook, and I would play it with a PlayStation 4 controller that was Bluetooth to my
What? You played League with
I
controller?
played League on a controller, and I had the mouse as the cursor, and it was atrocious. We can get into that some other time because we don't want to hear about that. But I played League
That's
for
crazy.
ever, man. I played League until 2016 when Paragon came out. And then I played Paragon for a couple of years,
Yeah,
and everybody knows what happened with Paragon. It got shut down, and we'll probably get more into that as we talk about Predecessor
100%,
later.
100%.
But
But go ahead.
then I played Paragon, and then when it shut down, I kind of took a break from PC gaming because I got married, I had a kid for a while, and now he's old enough and he hit a good enough age that I could spend time gaming when Predecessor came out. And I've kind of no lifed this game since it came out, embarrassingly. Uh and then esports, this is my first experience with esports. I got into esports because of League of Legends, watching primarily the LCK people. I was a really big fan of Monte Cristo and Doa while they were doing the LCK quite a
Yeah,
few years back. I think Monte Cristo is
that's a character.
arguably, yeah, I think he's arguably the best color caster of all time though, in any esport as that I've watched. But I always did it, and then I was really afraid of Predecessor shutting down when it first came out because of the history. It's not the first remake of Paragon,
Not at
so I
all.
kind of decided that I was just gonna try to do what I could to help the game as much as I could, or have whatever impact in the game that I could. And I had an opportunity where I knew somebody that was putting on a tournament, and they were looking for talent and people to do it, and I said, fuck this, let me give it a try. And I did it. My first one was really, really bad, but I enjoyed it quite a bit and just kind of stuck with it and kept practicing and doing what I could to be it. And I like to think I'm a semi competent caster at this point. I'm no Captain Flowers or anything, but I like to think that we had a pretty large impact on the game as well. I know a huge portion of the community is talking pretty regularly about our event specifically.
Yeah, I think you guys are one of the main reasons why people still play the game or have scrims and try to compete, you know. There's not a lot of tournaments and you guys are doing the best definitely. We're pretty much the only ones that I know of that did it and still do it. But let's go back to League of Legends. So you got introduced to esports, but what was your goal at the time? You just enjoyed it casually? Did you participate in tournaments? Maybe what
Oh,
rank were you?
I never got out of silver in League of Legends. I played it for
Okay.
about 10 years.
Oof.
And so I was a yeah, exactly. I was a very casual esports viewer. I just thought it was really cool, but like I wasn't like I told you, man, I was playing with a PlayStation 4 controller for a
Yeah,
decent
yeah,
portion of my time. I had no idea what I was doing. I was one of those people that like, they don't read the items, they just read the stats that it gives. They don't read the passives, the actives, none of that. Like I'm not reading my abilities. I just know this one hurts them. So Predecessor actually has taught me a bunch about that because of like the smaller community that's within it. You get closer to people that are good, so you kind of get forced to learn those things. But like for League of Legends, it was just something that entertained me. I used to fall asleep to it. I would like play it on my laptop or play it in the background as I would fall asleep, like what people do with rain noises.
yeah.
And I really enjoyed League of Legends, and I think part of what kept me down in that game, as far as my ranking, is that I only played it with my homies. So like all my homies were also dog shit, so I stayed dog shit.
That is true. If you play with dog shit players, you're gonna be dog shit. It's same in the
Yeah.
real life. If you're gonna be with broke people, most likely you're gonna be broke. I'm just saying. Um,
Right.
that's the reality of it. All right, so yeah, Paragon low league to Paragon, then Paragon dies, and then there's a gap though, right?
Right.
What is the gap? Like,
I
what do you
mean,
do?
during that time, I actually got really into Magic the Gathering and was playing a lot of trading card games. Um, and I had a kid who was
Oh, okay,
an
yeah.
infant. So like the 2 or 3 years there, he was just like a lot less independent than my son is now. So I just didn't really like have the time. I also was married to a ball and chain, uh, and she didn't love it when I gamed, and she was the boss. So
Oh, really?
yeah.
So, so you had like specific amount of hours a day you can play, or what?
No, I didn't have like a specific amount. I just like I didn't have a super great PC either, but I just wasn't playing much to kind of take care of the kid,
I mean,
more or
yeah,
less.
also with the kid, yeah, priorities
Yeah.
and such. So understandable. Um, all right then. So after the break, you do have predecessor, or before predecessor, there were actually other games.
Right.
Like what the Overprime. Um,
I actually never touched Overprime. I actually I hadn't heard of it until I started playing Predecessor, even though I know Overprime was a little bit before it. Um, and
the
I mean, I
first one
had
was
like
Fault, if you remember.
the first one was Fault. I do remember Fault. Yeah,
Yeah.
I also never played Fault. I watched a little bit of its gameplay and like not to be rude or to flame it or anything, but I feel like it ran on like 15 FPS all of the time. I didn't like the way that Fault looked at all. It was very unsmooth, so I never gave it a go.
I mean, Fault was like it's like if predecessors target, then then Fault was I don't know, I don't even know what you call it, Walmart
Dollar General,
or yeah, Dollar General. That's
the
probably
Kmart version of it.
yeah. And then yeah, we get to those games fail, and then we get to predecessor, and then yeah, uh you get to create a pred PCC. And maybe you wanna yeah, talk about it. What has
Um,
happened? What's going on? Um,
so
maybe you have some insight you can share. If not, then it's cool. Let us know.
so we have done 10 official licensed PCC events, and we are or were completely grassroots up into a couple of weeks ago. I mean, I guess technically we're still grassroots, but up until a couple of weeks ago. And basically, what it was is it was a guy named Jolster and a guy who's no longer with PCC, whose name was Telio, and they came together and just decided to start making like some events and some tournaments to try to help with it. I got introduced to them like 2 days before the very first PCC, and we got together, put it on, had a champion, and like got pretty good viewership and reception as to what was happening. Um, which was a little surprising to me because it was really in the infancy of the game, and I fell in love with being on the microphone and casting pretty much immediately once I started doing it and gave it a go. And we've been putting on an event pretty much every 2 months since that point. And we just had our largest event yet, PCCX, in January with a $10,000 prize pool. Actually, we've been on a little bit of a hiatus since that point. Our leader, the person who is our head of operations, actually just got hired by Ometa Studios. He's helping them with like live streams and some of their social media and content. And I believe there is a good amount of esports packed into what his role with Ometa is going to be as well. We're actually putting on an event this Sunday. I think it's just called the Sunday Showdown, but it's a bunch of people that do streaming for Predecessor. Soul Reaper, Empty's going to be in it. Joe Yours Truly is going to be in it. Pinzo, Wangle, kind of all of the big names are going to be there. And just they drafted teams and they're going to compete against each other.
Okay.
And we're going to put that on a broadcast. It's going to be the first official PCC broadcast with Ometa sponsoring
Is
or
this
Ometa
out
backing it.
yet? Do people know
That
it?
is public. Yeah, that's
Okay,
public.
all right. Well, congratulations. That is a very huge and pleasant news. We all know that this game does deserve a lot more love. Um, Hopefully, this helps the game grow, the player base grow. Maybe you could tell us your opinion on what is the reason a game like this is not popping uh, in the gaming industry or in the competitive scene specifically, or even for
That
casual
is,
players. It is a competitive game, so it's not
yeah.
really marketed towards casual players. You can have fun, but you have to really sweat.
I,
Um,
I do think that you are right, and at the base, this is a way more like competitive, heavy game than a casual game at this given point. And I would say that the reason that it is probably not in the eyes of a whole lot of or casual players is probably just due to the lack of marketing. They did just go full beta, full release, just a couple of months ago, or maybe about a year ago at this point. But Robbie, the CEO, has kind of answered that, you're like people like me aren't seeing his advertisements because we're already playing Predecessor, so we're not the type of people that he's marketing to. But
okay,
that is a little conflicting to me because I'm still seeing advertisements for other games that I play, right? Like I don't play a whole lot of other games. I play Marvel Rivals sometimes, but like I see advertisements for Marvel Rivals. I see like I know that Pred probably doesn't have a huge influence of like TikTok and like Instagram reels and stuff where people are making memes about it and stuff that are like really hitting the algorithm and getting pushed to a bunch of people. But even though I like follow a bunch of Predecessor people and a bunch of Predecessor stuff like on my Instagram, I'm not getting like Joy Yours Truly's reels in my like YouTube shorts or my like Instagram stuff or like anybody that's really doing those. So I think that maybe there's, and this is kind of weird, but I think there might be like a lack of a meme presence in the game because I think memes are the best marketing tool in current online spheres.
I
You know,
yeah. Marketing doesn't mean it has to do anything with like specifically having influencers and in that sense, like having them stream or um, specifically promote the game. It comes from natural engagement,
right?
meaning like yeah, create memes, TikTok videos, some type of content. Um, but yeah, if you just pay a streamer to play your game, it's not the long-term solution, you know.
I think so too. But I do think that there are lots of things they could do. I think that, like you said it earlier, I think this game deserves to have a lot of people playing it. it does, you can tell that it's an indie game, but it does have a lot of polish on it. And when you can get invested into it and you meet some of the people that are within it, like it's a fun game. You can I mean I have to have damn close to 3,000 hours in it in the last 2 years, which is an insane amount. But like I think that if they got people looking at it and got people playing it, it could really blow up. I think the WASD third person kind of movement behind it can be really appealing because it's a lot less challenging than League of Legends and Dota and other top-down MOBAs, right? So there's a lot more like potential for somebody to be able to perform while playing it and have a good time, and it's available on console. So I feel like if they pushed it, they could have a lot of successes with getting what they want out of it and reaching that broader audience. And I hope that that comes soon.
I think one of the problems with Predecessor was the initial release, the first impression. I think it is very important, especially nowadays, because of how humans have evolved and our attention span isn't as as big as before. As an example, right? So I think that that kind of you know it didn't let it have a real momentum. That's what I'm saying. And
I do
go ahead.
I do think that there was a moment where they really could have capitalized on a couple of things and pushed really really hard that were missed. I don't know if that was strategic or not. If so, I don't understand it. But I do hope to see like a bigger push soon. I do think this game kind of has an advantage because of you, like in a weird way, because of using all of those Unreal assets. Um, you see it all of the time. I see it in like the predecessor Facebook groups and stuff that I go to, but like people use those assets just for like advertising processors or whatever. Like you'll see it, and all of a sudden there'll just be a picture of Gideon or like a picture of Rampage on it or something. They have the opportunity and ability to make it so that when people see that, even though it's not them putting it out there, they go, "Oh, hey, that's Rampage from Predecessor," instead of, "Oh, that's Fish Rock guy," you know? And that's free real estate, that's free advertising if they can find a way to like get themselves out there enough where people recognize those epic assets as their assets instead, because people are using them everywhere.
They are. I've seen so many games, even top-down MOBAs
Yeah.
or extraction games that are using all the Paragon models and files. So yeah, I don't know. I don't think that is the issue, to be honest, but it's an important thing to note it. Um, Also, I think one of the reasons this game is struggling, like most of the games, is obviously the budgeting. At the end of the day, it is an indie game,
Hmm.
and you can't really take it away. You are competing against triple A, studios with so much more money.
Yeah, but I do think we have a unique spot where really I don't know too much about the broader industry of third person MOBAs, but it kind of does feel like it's only Smite 2 and kind of Deadlock that we're competing with, even though I think Deadlock is a drastically different game than this.
Smite though is Hi-Rez wouldn't consider as a triple A, no, right?
No, I don't think so
Yeah,
either.
yeah,
High Res is still indie for sure, but they are a much larger indie company than
yeah,
Omega Studios is.
yeah. They have like what 10 plus years, obviously, or something like that.
Right.
So it's again
Well,
hard to compare, but nonetheless, all props to Hi-Rez being an indie game and making a classic, which is Smite. Even though I still think they ruined the Smite 2 with, well, I don't know if you've
I have played Smite 2. I'm not a large fan of it. I also think that was a really interesting idea from High Res to. I think that Smite 2 needed to happen, but I think it needed to be much more developed before it was released.
Yeah, I don't see a lot of difference between Smite and Smite 2 to not be even, there's a lot of people that have invested so much time in Smite, right? With money,
Yeah,
skins, and uh, there's not enough, like if you compare like original Dota with Dota 2, like that's day and night. But when you're
right,
compared to Smite and Smite 2, that's like, I don't know, 1 p.m. in a day and 2 p.m. in a day. Like
right.
I don't know how to, it's just unfortunate, and I think that game is also doomed. The viewership and the player base also is not very healthy.
They shut down their entire esports department.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because of my time in Pred Esports, I've met a lot of the people that do um the Smite Esports, and we actually have somebody on the PCC, like he's kind of an advisor more than a staff for us, but he cast the land that they just had in Las Vegas a couple of months ago, and then they got back from it and they get informed that they were all being cut, and it's unfortunate, but Hi-Rez saw that there just wasn't a lot of advertising potential or money to be made from their portion of it. I did hear though, just as a quick note, that they had to change from Smite 1 to Smite 2 because Smite 1 is programmed and coded on Flash, which doesn't exist anymore.
Um, are they thinking of reviving it or what's going on?
For Smite Esports,
Yeah,
oh, they will eventually bring it back for sure. They more or less are putting a pause on it for right now. Which I mean, while the game is still developing and like in the spot that it's in, I think it's wise of them to pause it. But it sucks for all my homies. I don't love that.
I mean, yeah, I mean, a lot of games are struggling. I really don't know what is the source of the struggle, but maybe you know. What is the reason why there's so many flops?
Why there's so many flops?
Yeah,
I think that a part of that comes from the demand of gamers. I mean, you've been a gamer for a long time as well, I'm sure, and I mean, how many like sophisticated patient gamers do you know?
I
Everybody
mean,
wants a game
yeah.
to be perfect right away. You know, you have to strike massive with a first impression, or you're not going to keep somebody's attention because there are great finished, polished games out there. Like you can go play League of Legends, you can go play Dota 2. You don't have to play a game that has a bunch of bugs and has a bunch of errors. Like you can go play Overwatch. You can go do a single person game if you want to, right? So like as somebody comes in, you get like 2, 3, 4 games to catch a casual person's attention. You have like a week and a half, 2 weeks, maybe a month to catch somebody that takes it more serious and is more like competitive and a higher level gamer. Like you, like how long did you play Pred for, right?
I
How
mean,
long did you?
I played a lot of internal testing. I think I have like 1,000 hours for sure. I mean, I played it for at least 2 years total. Because there was
Okay,
internal testing, and I played it quite a lot for like I think 6 months, like almost every
okay.
day.
I think I didn't realize that you were in the IT portion of it then. I only knew you from like when you were competing in PCCs and like on the more competitive side of it. But like it didn't last very long for you as well because I know you're like playing it like maybe once a month right now. What were your reasonings for not for putting the game down?
The reasoning was I was waiting. I've been waiting for a new game to play for 7 years, but the problem with that is that I mean, I cannot fully invest my time when I have a kid. I have to make money. I just can't invest in a game that I'm not certain of if it is going to have a real future. I don't want
Right,
to play now 6 to 8 hours a day just to only be good at a game that might, just not grow. Even though, like I said, it deserves everything. You know. I
right.
love the game, so
She um I agree. I'm a little bit nervous about it. That's one of the things that really scared me when this game first came out because of, what happened with Paragon. I was a little nervous and a little afraid to really invest and put my time into it because I remember how pissed off I was when Paragon closed, even though they gave me all my money back, which like shout out to Epic for that.
yeah, that's
But
cool.
That's part of the reason that I decided to try to do esports for the game, though. I was trying to make sure that I could do what I could to help the game like survive, other than just the generic buying skins stuff, right? I wanted to try to have a larger impact to try to make sure that this game wasn't taken from me and the community that has followed these assets since like 2016, you know? Because most of the people that are playing this game religiously are the same people that were playing Paragon religiously, who are the same people that were playing Fault religiously. Like, we deserve to have a game that lasts and can be developed and can reach like adulthood, for lack of a better way of putting it.
I mean, uh, yeah, that's all we wish for. Just not sure how to make it happen at this point, but I'll personally be still closely paying attention and looking out for the game. I do come once a month just to, click buttons
I
because I
do
miss the game. But yeah,
I do think currently we are in as good of a spot to stay alive as the game has ever been. I think that there are more eyes on it and more people paying attention to it and more quick moves being made by Omega than at any other point in Predecessor's history, like for sure. I think I'm biased because Choice plays the head of operations for PCC, getting hired by Omega. Like, Choice is my boy. We've worked together, but like just on a personal level, he's like a good friend of mine. We've got a lot of stuff in common outside of loving esports. So like, I think hiring Choice is about as good of a move as that company could have made. Uh, but they're doing a bunch of other stuff. You know, they're starting to add retention into the game. They're starting to add, daily login stuff like with the loot cores. There's a lot of stuff that they are attempting to do that games need in order to keep players engaged and keep people going. And I like the direction that we are headed, at least. So I think if there was ever a time to be getting into this game and not worried about it dying, it's right now.
okay,
Because I think right now it's got a minimum 2 years left.
okay. I mean, if I genuinely think if they just find a little bit more players, there doesn't have to be any reason to shut it down. And the
Yep.
games, naturally will grow if they are enjoyable. People talk and recommend games to each other. But besides that, yeah. Regarding Predecessor and you, by the way, has this been your stepping stone in esports or gaming industry in general when it comes to, you know, success, making a living out of it, etc.
Um. So yes and no. I'm definitely not making a living out of esports or even close to it. But this is my first esports experience. I had never done it for anything like on my own end before Predecessor. Uh, and it's taught me a bunch, and it's introduced me to a lot of people from other industries. Like I said, I know quite a few people that are in the professional Smite scene through it, but this was my own personal introduction to esports. Yeah,
Okay.
I guess. Yeah, sorry. I don't know if I fumbled through that question.
No, you didn't.
Cool,
That
cool,
was
cool.
a great answer. Yeah. My initial question was like to, have you let us know what has been your stepping stone in general, but I know you a bit, and I know what you're doing with predecessors. So, and it's a huge thing for an individual, so that's why I asked directly if this is connected to predecessor, like
Oh
making a
yeah.
living, not necessarily, but like doing like big things in esports or gaming
Mhm.
industry.
And like honestly, I know that Predecessor is small, and I try to be humble because I was raised that way, but I do feel like PCC, I don't want to say that it's me as an individual. It's PCC as a team, are having a massive impact on Predecessor. I think that pretty much since the beginning, we've been one of the more popular things to check out, spaces to be around. It's one of the more topical things to discuss. Most of the biggest streamers participate in it or talk about it, promote it on their streams. Like, we've been very successful as far as esports are concerned. The game doesn't have an insane amount of players. I mean, we're talking like 3 to 6,000 people every day, and at some of our events, we're having 1,000 viewers. So we've got 33% percent of the viewers doing it. And like the numbers are small in comparison to like League of Legends that have 10, 15, 20K people doing it. But when you think about the fact that they've got a million concurrent players,
Yeah,
they've got
exactly.
like 1% of their player base. We've got 30% of our
That's
player
a lot.
base.
The
So
numbers are good. Again, the game is good. The
it's
numbers are good. It just needs more player base. People need
yeah. And
to.
it's kind of copium math that I'm doing, right? Like it's kind of, oh hey,
It's not.
like it's kind of copium, but it's not at the same time to me.
Yeah. It,
So I don't
it
know.
yeah. It's not copium because it's statistics. It's just again, you just need to widen the player base, and that's about it. Um. Again, I think the main problem for me was the initial release, the early access, or whatever you want to call it. So many people did try, even famous streamers or ex pro mobile players or any other ex esport player, right? Pro, but they just did not enjoy the game. Lack of tutorials or basic stuff like that should, not be a thing. When I had my friend try a game who's very into esports, but when he tries the game and after 5 minutes of playing it, he doesn't feel nothing, and plus he doesn't know what to do because there was no tutorial.
Yep.
It was just, yeah, just a rough start. But besides that, again, I think the game has a lot of potential, and yeah, hopefully
So
things just go upwards.
your friend that you tried to introduce that you were just
Yeah.
talking about, has he played other MOBAs? Like, is he familiar with
Yes.
the
Yeah.
MOBA?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Because
But
one of
not
the things that
3D
I was going
MOBA.
to say is it's hard to get somebody that doesn't understand MOBAs to sit down and try to play one and like invest the time into it. Because for the first 10 minutes, 15 minutes of the game, you don't do anything, right? You're just sitting there hitting
Yeah.
these creeps and trying not to get hit by this person that you don't understand what they're going to do. I feel like the learning curve for a MOBA is really, really high. Um, to circle back to, I think that might be one of the things that's making it tough for Predecessor to find players is it's primarily going to be a console game. Right now, the majority of the player base is console, and that's probably going to remain consistent through its
Yeah.
existence. And there's not or I mean there's Smite, but there's really not MOBAs on console. And
True.
have having people just see it in the store, download it because there's a cool guy throwing rocks out of a space bag or whatever, like with Gideon there, and then they get into it and it's not Call of Duty and they don't one shot people and they don't instantly get killed and they have to wait 20 minutes to do anything and they have to spend 40 seconds after they die just staring at their teammates because there's death timers in the game and there's not in other games. Like that might be part of why it's tough to kind of get people into it too.
There is brawl mode. Maybe they should look into. I just think again, when they had a chance to release something new, I think they had to go on a just go brainstorm, man. Just go make something instead of all random, all mid or what, just make
Yep.
something else. Make something that is unique to your game and that might have pulled completely different audience, and then people could have chose, they could choose whichever. But having brawl is fine. It's fun. It's just again, it's a copy of another thing in a sense of like every MOBA has it. But
Right. Well, it also has a huge inherent flaw with it where the Orb Prime buff spawns at 10 minutes and it's worth a fourth of your
yeah,
tickets,
yeah,
right?
exactly.
The person who gets Orb Prime wins
Wins the
Brawl.
yeah, yeah.
It has to be like 80% of the time, if not higher.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I played a few games. I noticed it right away. But I mean, again, though these are just small things. Just again, yeah. Hopefully, also this game, I do believe it's hard because of the viewership, right? Viewership equals sponsorship and vice versa. But yeah, this game or the tournament specifically potentially could find some type of sponsorship. You can
Hopefully.
you can always collaborate, and that also brings new type of target audience. Obviously, therefore, a lot of tournaments are also being sponsored by specific companies or organizations. But yeah, besides that, Maybe you can let me know as a final question for today. What are your expectations and goals for the in the near future and long term for yourself and with predecessor and PCC?
Okay, I'm gonna start selfishly. I am a mediocre gamer at best. I told you earlier I never got out of silver in League of Legends. I am like 3 games away from hitting diamond in Predecessor. And I've got a couple more days before the ranked reset. And if I don't get that, I might never show my face in the community again because I'm damn positive that I can make it to it. My goals for PCC are to continue it to grow. We need more eyes on Predecessor. I want to continue to be one of the reasons that people discover Predecessor, open it up, start playing it, and like learn it and get to it. I want to help the game get more players, and I just want PCC to grow and grow and grow as much as they can. I think that choice getting picked up by Omega is going to do a lot to help PCC grow and to help get more eyes onto it.
Shout out to
This is
him.
selfish as well, and this is a hope. This is not confirmed, but I hope that we start doing our events on the official predecessor channel. I don't know how realistic that is, but that would be super sick if we could do that. But I basically just want to make sure the game stays alive. I want to do anything that I can to make sure that the game where I've met most of my best online friends continues to exist so that we've got a common game that we can play together. Because like we've all taken breaks. We spent some time playing Marvel Rivals. We spent some time doing this or that, and it's just like not the same. Not everybody vibes with the other types of games that some people are playing,
Yeah,
but all of us always love Predecessor. So
yeah,
I want the game that we all love to be able to survive.
I agree, but yeah, there's so many things again that can be done. I even remember leaving a feedback. I don't remember it was IT Discord or the main one, but even having a menu section like esports or having a a big thumbnail that is clickable inside the game that
Yep.
like all these basic things like at this point you gotta get to it, you gotta experiment, you gotta go above the boundaries and you just gotta do stuff. Like, yeah, I hope you guys do have an official. I'll probably even get to it and practice. Maybe find a team. At this moment, I don't have any games to play besides rematch that is currently closed. I don't know if you played it. It's a soccer competitive soccer game.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's amazing. It's just a better Rocket League. I think that game is gonna blow up, and I think it's gonna have actually a healthy esports scene. So I'm looking forward to that.
I
Um,
like the graphic style of that game a lot.
yeah,
I've seen the
from
trailer for it.
Shifu, the
Yeah.
creators of Shifu. Um,
Um, we have. I just want to mention the home screen thing, like what you can see on your client here that says like free loot cores. PCC has been on that before. We had a link to one of our events on it. I think it was PCC 10 or X, but we have had that before. We have gotten a decent amount of help from Omega in the past to promote our event.
Okay, maybe I missed it when I took a break. Then my apologies.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of the
It,
small things that it should be. Just make it even a bigger, or make another
yeah.
section in the menu where you click esports. Maybe there's a lot of people who try the game and they play and they see, okay, you have quick match ranked and that's it, right? What's the point of me playing? What if someone starts the game and then he sees, oh, it's a new game. Oh, they have esports. Hey, maybe I'm gonna go all in and play this game instead and actually learn it instead of give up because there's nothing. What is it called? Um, what is the word for it?
There's nothing to strive for.
Not to strive, but it's like nothing you can get attached to it in a sense like something to work for. Only thing is ranked. But again, what is ranked for you when there's like, again, a limited player amount or the same people always in the same lobbies? It just doesn't hit the same hitting the number one rank. As an example, but again, that's what I mentioned before. Um, you know, someone might see the esports menu section and he's gonna devote his life now to predecessor. I mean, I'm looking for an esports game for 7 years. That's the
Right.
reality since Heroes of the Storm and looking for a game that's gonna have esports scene. And I'm just one pure example of of a target audience that I'm providing you. I'm literally fishing for a game that will have an esports scene and that I enjoy. This game, for example, I enjoy, but it does not have a big successful esports scene because of the issue of having low player base. I think if game had bigger player base, we would have a successful esports scene because I think it's fairly fun to watch, and the spectator mode has improved, and you know, um, the tournament streams are looking better. It looks good. It's just again player base, have viewers, have competitive players. Obviously, everything equals, you know, everything's connected. So yeah.
Right. I definitely agree with that. I do think that we've got the tools to have a very successful esports scene as long as we've got enough people in it. Because although it is always great to see repetitive names and to like kind of have faces of the scene, you also want to see those people be challenged. Like, for example, D-Lab, they made it to every finals this last year. I think they only actually won one of them, but them making it to every single finals is great for brand recognition for them, but like it makes the game feel a little less competitive, right? Because like it's always one team getting to the top.
Exactly, that's what it is. And if you did the same comparison you just provided to us, it's exactly can be applied to ranked. Because you always see the same players. Most likely, the team with the same two players that are in duo queue is gonna most likely win because you have the other four players that are not that great as they are. As an example, right? It can come to every game. It's always gonna be like this, but when you do have a limited player base, it's gonna happen almost every game. After a game, you queue up. You have that 6 minute queue, 10 minute queue, or you have the instant queue. But it's gonna be same opponents, same players, same everything in some ways. That is my that was one of my issues. Like when rank came out, especially the 2 day ranked or whatever it was, I just did not feel motivated enough to now go for rank one or practice only because I know it's just every game is gonna be the same players and same lobbies and as an example, that was my personal one of my personal reasons. But yeah.
We still don't have 24/7 rank as
Yeah,
well.
yeah, that's why yeah, this is a topic about another day. But yeah, before you leave, thank you very much for joining us. It was a pleasure having you. Thank you for giving us also providing us information and knowledge about Predecessor and upcoming events regarding it. Again, we wish everything best to Omeda Studios and Predecessor game. It's amazing. Thanks for reviving it. Hopefully, it just grows and grows. I'll be coming back once a month unless like you said you have a big thing if it's happening I'm gonna look into it and I really might consider it, especially with the rank, a new season coming out, so the rank will be reset. But before you leave, again, please let us know who you are, provide us social medias, and feel free to give a shout out to anyone and say your final last words.
For sure. So once again, I am Lance Cecil, the artist formerly known as Lance Chesticles. I am a shoutcaster and tournament organizer for the game Predecessor. I can be found all over the internet at Lance Cecil, LANCECECIL, Twitter, Twitch. That's actually all of them: Twitter and Twitch, Discord. Um, my DMs are open if you want to try to do esports, even though we kind of have a pretty competitive scene as far as like casting goes amongst the people that are within the PCC. I like to give a shout out specifically to Choice Plays overall first, and then just everybody else that's in the PCC and their upper stuff. You know, you got F6, Monarch, Stranger, Hot Sauce, Jolster, even though he's retired, and all of the people in the crew, my duo partner, Denim David, my co-caster Rit, and that's basically it. And I'm really glad I came into your stream yesterday. I appreciate you inviting me onto this. we were just kind of watching some competitive Dota 2 together, and you just kind of asked me if I wanted to do this. I may have been 2 days ago now at this point, but
Yeah.
I'm glad that we decided to do it, and I hope that you do come back to Pred because I remember you being a pretty good gamer, and we're always looking for good players.
Yeah, when I enjoy things and when I'm locked in, I can perform and do some stuff. It just comes naturally in the sense like it's like when you're forcing a poop, right? It's gonna hurt, it's gonna come out bloody. It's the same with anything in life. If I'm gonna force myself to play a game that I'm not currently enjoying, but again, if there is a reason, if there's a big tournament or announcement, I heard there's a LAN event, for example. I am talking with some people, but I just gotta wait and see. But yeah, I'm glad you pulled up to my stream because at that exact evening, I think the day, I was looking for someone to interview from Predecessor. Um, and yeah, it was a destiny. But
Perfect.
yeah. Once again, Lance, thank you so much. Keep in touch, and yeah, let's see where the game can, what kind of heights it can reach. Yeah,
Yeah, hopefully to the moon.
yeah, to the moon. All right. Thank you very much. Take care.
All right, see you later.